Do you want to win a pair of flying eye sunglasses? We first met Dean Siracusa in this episode of In The Hangar before we were ever sponsored by them. Now we're going to do a contest with this video. The transparent goals here are to get some flying eye sales and to drive more subscribers into our channel. To do that, here's how the giveaway is going to work. Leave a comment, and the comment with the most likes will win the glasses. That's simple. We'll do a 1-week run. So exactly 1 week after this episode posts, we'll close it and check. So leave a comment and then get your friends over here to like your comment and, of course, subscribe. Now, it's not one winner take all. Here's what we're also going to do. I will pick my favorite comment, and that person will win a Taking Off Comfort Color t-shirt. Dan will then pick the comment that's the most arrogant. In other words, a pilot comment, and they'll win a Pilot is Always Right t-shirt. Now, the funniest comment? Yeah, that's right. We're going to award that person a special Brian Turner Just Plain Silly Fizdo punch card signed by Brian himself. So with that, get busy on your comments and shares and head over to the Flying Eyes website, use discount code TAKINGOFF for 10% off. And here's the video from the first time we ever met Dean.
Hi, welcome to In The Hangar. I'm Dan Milliken.
And I'm Christy Wong. Today, we're talking aviation vision.
And Dean Siracusa from Flying Eyes is here to talk about it.
Yes, thank you very much for having me here, by the way.
Thanks, and tell us a little bit about your aviation background.
Yeah, I've I've been flying for 20 years and got my license actually because I was afraid to fly.
Always a good reason.
Yeah, I was flying. I was
Embrace and hug the
bear.
Hug the bear.
I was.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was flying. I was a commercial director, and I was flying a lot on commercial airline flights, and I just developed this fear of flying. And airline pilot friend of mine said, "Go take some lessons." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because you're afraid. You're afraid to fly. You don't understand how it works, and you're a control freak." I said, "Well, that's probably true." And so I took some lessons and learned all of the things that you think you're afraid of as a non-pilot, or like nothing to be worried about. And there's some things to be concerned about, but you don't fly into thunderstorms, don't fly well hydrated, and fly with an airplane that's running well. That launched my flying, and used my plane for business travel and personal travel all over the country. My wife, I was getting a little burned out with shooting for these car companies and their ad agencies, and wondering what I should do next. And my wife said, "Well, glasses always bother you when you're wearing a headset. Why don't you fix that?" So I found an eyewear manufacturer, found a designer, and we introduced our first frame style in 2013. It was one frame style, had interchangeable temples, and they're great. Interchangeable temples that had a microfiber cloth that would go around and stay on your head, and you wouldn't feel them. When I introduced those, I learned two things. One, that the need for these glasses was much bigger than I expected, and it was one frame style isn't an eyewear company. Everybody's got different face sizes and shapes, and so I went back to the drawing board. And although the original frames we still sell and they're very popular, but I worked on this new material. I found this new material that is primarily used in aerospace. And what's unique about it is it can be molded, unlike any other material. It can be molded a millimeter thin, and yet,
oh my gosh,
you can bend it any way you like, and it won't deform or break.
And it goes back to the original shape.
Yep. Exactly.
It looks toddler-proof.
Yes. Yeah. I have a 6-year-old, and she hasn't been able to break them in the years that we've had these. It's one of the most expensive injection molded materials out there, and it's, like I said, it's primarily used in aerospace, but it works great for this. the the problem of wearing glasses under a headset is actually a new problem. Aviation headsets were really became popular in the 70s and 80s, and they didn't really start competing for who was the quietest until Bose introduced their headset, and it really made a made a big difference in actually having a quiet cabin just from a really good pair of headsets. They do it with two ways: clamping force and active noise cancellation, electronic noise cancellation. And clamping force is literally a spring up here, and it just presses up against your head. They all have some clamping force, and the amount of clamping force affects, the glasses that you're wearing. And the same with electronic noise canceling. If you have a noise leak because of a thick pair of glasses that are actually away from your head, creates noise leaks, and it defeats the purpose of spending good money on an amazing headset like Bose or Lightspeed or David Clark.
Okay. So with aviation sunglasses, of course, they have to be non-polarized. And
Yes,
that's what I
absolutely.
learned. So
Right.
I'll be honest, I'm terrible. I've been buying cheap sunglasses.
Sure.
Because I've got a 6-year-old.
Yes.
And because I tend to lose and break sunglasses.
Right, exactly.
So
Exactly.
when I started flying some of the bigger airplanes with
Sure.
the different avionics panels,
Right.
I realized I
go-
couldn't see
like-
very well. I had to constantly lift up.
Right.
And so these sunglasses solve that problem, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So there's been a perception in the eyewear industry, a marketing perception, that polarization blocks UV light, and it's safer. It doesn't. Polarization blocks a certain angle of visible light, and I know this because of my photographic background.
Right.
It blocks a certain angle of visible light, and it's great for when you're on water or snow because it's gonna block the glare. And if you're a fisherman, so you can see through the water and see what you're fishing at, or if you're on snow, it blocks that glare. What it also does is blocks LCD displays, like on your iPad or your primary flight display, and that's because those LCD displays have a polarization filter on them
Already.
So now you're getting filtered twice.
And
Well,
whenever you
it's-
have two polarization things
Yes.
going opposite, it will go
goes
to black.
Exactly, because it's basically blocking. You think of a comb, and if it's blocking at that angle of light, and then you're blocking that angle of light,
There's no more light.
it's black. And that's what happens. So polarization doesn't protect your eyes. It is really only to block glare. And the dirty little secret is all sunglasses are a medical device. It's an FDA regulated product. And they do that because in the old days, if you had tinted lenses, but no UV filtering, your eyes are going to dilate, and more UV light is actually going to get in. The tinting doesn't block UV light. I have clear lenses in here that block 100% of UV light. So and by the way, all of our glasses do block 100% of UV light.
Okay, so we've talked about you talked about basically then is your glasses the
Yes.
secret sauce is the.
Yes.
Is there anything about the actual glasses
Yeah.
or the frames?
Absolutely. So the lenses, well, I knew from the very beginning that I've been fortunate. I've had very few incidences in airplanes, but I didn't want to have an emergency and have glass shattering in my eyes. So all of our glasses are polycarbonate lenses. They're the highest quality polycarbonate lenses, so the clarity is amazing. Additionally, as an option, we have one thing that's really helpful in the cockpit, and that is the option of gradient tint lenses. And so what that's nice for is it blocks the sunlight through the windshield, but it makes it easier to see the panel. So the panels, if you're older like me and you need cheaters, we actually have non-prescription bifocal lenses for that frame too. But just having that little bit of less density of tint down at the bottom makes it much easier to see the panel.
All right, so you've talked about how durable
Yes.
that the frames are.
Yes.
But what about the lenses and protection?
Sure, absolutely. For my goal, since I've been flying for as long as I have, I'm designing the glasses for myself first as a pilot. And I didn't want, if I was going to have, God forbid, an accident, I didn't want shards of glass, shattered glass in my face, under my eyes. So I wanted the best, highest quality polycarbonate lenses you could buy, and that's what we have. Yes.
And I saw something on social media where you talk about shards of plastic. Something
Yes.
happened to somebody who was a client of yours. Tell us that story.
So I got a call about almost 2 years ago now from a pilot wanted to talk to the owner of the company. So I picked up the phone and he said, first thing he says, I wanted to thank you for saving my life and the lives of my family. Wow, okay. So I'm game. Tell me what happened. And he said, well, he's a pilot. He flies a Lancer Evolution turboprop. He was flying with his wife and his kids in the back seat, and from the Bay Area to Arizona where they lived, and they were at 25,000 feet, 350 knots, and the windshield explodes, shatters, and they get shards of windshield in their face. The winds at 400 miles an hour. Just to give you an idea how forceful that was, their headsets got blown off, gone, like literally gone. If you ever go skydiving, terminal...
Which I did recently.
Oh, awesome. Well, terminal velocity is around, I think it's 120, 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's why when you said 400 miles, I was like, that's a lot more than skydiving.
Right.
And my skin was feeling
way
back.
more, exactly. And so they instantly had that 400 miles an hour of wind in their face, and it's so loud that his wife was yelling in his ear, couldn't hear a thing. The only thing that saved them was they were wearing flying eyes. They stayed on. They weren't damaged. He could see the panel. He hit the nearest button. Obviously, he was already making an emergency descent because he could see the panel. Make an emergency descent down to breathable altitudes, and found the nearest airport, landed, and everybody's alive. And we,
Wow.
As two pilots talking, we actually spoke for about an hour and all the details of that and what happened. And after the end of it, I was like, well, gosh, the glasses had to have been scratched. I'd love to give you another pair. He's like, no, that's not why I'm calling you. I'm calling you because you saved our lives.
So they weren't
Wow.
even scratched.
That's incredible.
No, they weren't.
Wow.
That occurrence caused us to get some of our frame styles actually safety rated, and getting glasses safety rated is really expensive. There's no guarantee because it's an independent lab that actually tests the glasses, and there's no guarantee that they'll actually pass. And you might be out, $10,000
Right.
per frame style.
Oh, wow.
And so after that incident, though, I was like, okay, well, that and plus we got a call from an helicopter charter company in Louisiana that flies out to oil rigs. They're now requiring their pilots to wear safety glasses.
Oh,
and
wow.
they said, hey, we love your flying eyes. Do you have any safety rated ones?
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, not yet, but we should get them tested. And we got them tested. And the Golden Eagle style is now safety rated. It's
Wow.
an ANSI Z87 safety rating.
You mind if I try some on?
Please, love
All
it.
right.
All right, well, while she's trying them on,
Yes.
so what do you think? You look like an aviator. Maybe you should become
Finally.
one. Finally.
That's the thing about, aviator sunglasses were designed in the 1930s, about 50 years before headsets. So,
Right.
if you look at watch old World War II movies, they're wearing headphones. They're headphones. They're not actually noise reducing headphones. They're actually just speakers. That's why
Right.
old pilots are deaf.
Yeah.
They just had speakers and, big old radials next to them. They're
All right, so my big question
Yes.
is that, because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, man, I'd love a pair, but
Yeah.
I'm prescription.
Yep, not a problem.
So, it isn't?
Not a problem. So these are my prescription flying eyes, and they're full progressive because I'm over 40. A few
Right?
years.
Yeah, see, I have progressive.
Yes.
I hate to
Yeah. So
admit that.
all of our glasses are prescription compatible, plus or minus 3.5 diopters. So basically, if you're really blind, we're working on ophthalmic frames. But if you're only modestly blind without corrective lenses, we can.
Okay,
have
so
that.
if I'm prescription, progressive,
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff,
Yep.
am I out some big bucks? What are we talking?
It varies by the type of by the type of prescription that you need.
Right.
And we don't actually handle prescription lenses in-house. We have opticians that
Right.
sell our glasses. But you can also take these glasses to just about any optician and get prescription lenses put in. And it'll be no different than getting prescription lenses for any other sunglasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, could I pop my Zenies out and put them into something like this?
No, because the shape is different.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
problem.
That's the problem.
What do you think?
I like them.
I like them too.
Yeah,
They're actually
absolutely.
very comfortable.
So-
Very comfortable.
Well, I think that's the whole point.
I mean,
right?
that's why he's here.
One subtle little thing that you can see and the audience may not be able to see is it's this subtle one lens option that is really popular is a gradient tint, and it's where it's a darker at the top and a little lighter at the bottom.
Oh, it
And
allows you to see your electronics.
Yeah. I
exactly,
can see
and
that.
the panel. And so
Oh,
the
yeah.
panel is it makes it much easier to see the panel, and it's still blocking the sunlight.
But does it make me look cool?
It makes you look beautiful.
Very good.
Well, that's the important thing. so.
Exactly. Priorities.
Well, Dean, I also know that you're an aviator, and we're going to need to do
Yeah.
an episode of taking off with your incredible fast plane. So
Sure.
I'm looking forward to that too.
Absolutely love it.
Thanks for coming all the way
Of
up here
course.
and talking with us
Happy
today.
to.
And hopefully we can do another episode in the plane.
I'll buy
Wearing
our
the
stuff.
sunglasses.
Wearing the
you have
sunglasses.
to test drive the
Yeah,
sunglasses.
Exactly. It'd be a lot more fun to do that.
Well, thank you very much for watching too, and we'll see you in the future. Thanks for watching In the Hangar.